be it.
Yep.
Call the meeting to order. Please join us for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to take a moment and have a moment of silence and respect for Mayor Hill and his passing. Thank you all.
Prayers to their family.
I'd like to proceed with roll call, please.
Callahan. Here. Houston.
Here.
Hannah.
Here.
Kurtz.
Here.
Prusader.
Here.
O'Laughlin.
Here.
Jensen.
Here.
I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Is there anyone for public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. First up, we have a proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, John Kurtz, Mayor Pro Tem of Independence, do recognize the week of May 1st through May 7th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our Professional Municipal Clerks Office and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Oh, sorry.
Motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the April 11th, 2022 regular meeting, the Crowbar Class C liquor license renewal application that includes outdoor service and Sunday sales, May 15th, 2022 through May 14th, 2023, Dollar General Store number 2329 Class C beer permit liquor license renewal application that includes Class B wine permit and Sunday sales, March 1st, 2022 through February 28th, 2023. The last item is deleted as they have not complied. If I could have a motion?
So moved. Second.
How can we on number 3 go back and date it March 1st?
That's the date that ABD has, because that's when their license originally was supposed to be done. It's just taken them this long to get in compliance for fire and building.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? For your information, are the budgeted monthly transfers. Any questions on that? And then there's also, for your information, revenues and expenses. Any questions for the council? Next up, we have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign. Whoops. Okay, pardon me. Need a motion to hold a hearing on tobacco enforcement.
So moved. Second.
Yeah, I'm just reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we're now in hearing, right? Hi there.
Hello, good evening. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, my name is Dan Morgan. I'm from the City Attorney's Office. I'm here to you today regarding a tobacco violation with respect to the Mini Mart on 709 First Street West in Independence, Iowa. Iowa Code Chapter 453A requires that offending entities be afforded a hearing. That is what we're here for today. That hearing has to be before the issuing body of the tobacco license, which is in this case the City of Independence and more specifically the City Council. So what I'm required to prove to you this evening is that there must be substantial evidence that, one, a sale of tobacco or vapor products was made to a minor under the age of 18, and two, the sale was made by the permit holder or an employee of the permit holder. I want to direct your attention first off to the notice of violation. It should be part of your council packet there. It's dated March 22nd, 2022. And I just want to make a record that a notice was sent to the owners of record for the Mini Mart, which is Iowa Investment LLC at 212 South Horton Parkway in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. They were provided an opportunity to voluntarily resolve this citation. It is my understanding they did not do so, and that a hearing was set for today's date at 5:00 p.m. And to my knowledge, is anybody present for the Mini Mart or Iowa Investment LLC? Yes. Yes, okay. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and present my evidence first then. So I want to direct your attention to the tobacco permit, which is also part of your council packet. And that tobacco permit was issued on July 1st, 2021. It was to run through June 30th, 2022. And that permit was applied for by the Iowa Investment LLC at the address I originally provided to you, and it was to cover cigarettes, tobacco, alternative nicotine products, and vapor products. And they were to be sold at the convenience gas station known as the Mini Mart. I want to direct your attention to the complaint, which was filed by the Independence Police Department. That on or about, if you look there, this is also part of your packet, and the top box there, I know it's really kind of hard to see, but on or about February 15th, 2022, just short of 6:00 p.m., the named defendant in this case, which was an Angela Keener, she was the employee of the Mini Mart, sold tobacco products to a minor. You can see that violation there just below, and that is a violation of Iowa Code Section 453A.2 subsection 1. Direct your attention then to the dispositional order, which admittedly is a little bit challenging on these types of citations, but it's starts at the top, looks a little bit like this. It's kind of ugly. Don't have a nice order for you. But this is the record that was provided to me from the Iowa clerk, or the district court clerk for Buchanan County, Iowa. You'll see the named defendant there is Angela Keener. You may recall from the complaint that she was the employee that was alleged to have sold tobacco to a minor. She then pled guilty to that citation on March 4th, 2022. That's just kind of in the middle of the page there below the original plea. And I would assert to this council that between the complaint that alleges a sale to a minor and the guilty plea that definitively proves that tobacco products were sold to a minor by this employee. So I believe that will satisfy both elements that we are required to prove to this council, which is, again, one, the sale of tobacco products to a minor. That was the allegation by the Independence Police Department. And then two, that the sale was made by the permit holder or an employee of the permit holder. And I would assert that Ms. Keener was employed by the Mini Mart at the time of the sale and that she did, in fact, plead guilty to that citation. So, as the prosecuting body for this citation, I would request that this council authorize the mayor pro tem to issue an order directing that the state-required fine of $300 be paid by the Mini Mart and its owners, Iowa Investment LLC. And failure to do so within 30 days of that order, that their $300 would still be due, but they would also be subject to a 14-day suspension of the tobacco permit. Can I answer any questions or examination from the council?
It's the mini mart that has to pay the fine, or the,
It would be the owners, Iowa Investment LLC. Yep. So the permit holder, which is Iowa Investment LLC, which appears to be based in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. And failure to pay that fine could be collectible through a small claims action here in the Buchanan County District Court.
so if she pled guilty, why wouldn't they pay it?
So there's two separate violations. There's one that's against employee themselves, which is a separate criminal citation, and she has pled guilty to it and presumably will pay that fine. That's a Buchanan County state charge. And then the state of Iowa gives us the option to pursue this as a city. It's because if we don't pursue it, which is what we're doing now, if we don't pursue it, the state of Iowa State Attorney General's office will. So they give us that opportunity, and the city has elected to have us pursue that citation against the business. So the state's kind of handling the individual employee clerk, we're handling the business itself.
Any other questions?
At that time, I will rest my case and yield the floor to the individual for the Mini Mart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Ashley Pine. I'm representing Iowa Investments LLC or Mini Mart. We did have an employee, Angela. She was working at the time, and she did check the ID, and she still sold to the minor. I'm here today to pay the fine. I wasn't aware that we could pay it and not have to do this today, but I seen that I had to come, so I am coming on behalf, and I am going to pay the fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That I need a motion to acknowledge Mini Mart violated Iowa Code Section 453A21 by selling, got to close the hearing. Excuse me. Need a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now I need a motion to acknowledge Mini Mart violated Iowa Code Section 453A21 by selling, giving, or otherwise supplying any tobacco, tobacco products, or cigarettes to any person under 18 years of age, and that this is a first violation of this statute. Need a roll call? Or need a motion first?
So moved. Second.
We're on it. Roll call.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Kurtz,
Here.
Versater,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
I'm just getting all flustered here. I need a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the order assessing the penalty for a first violation.
So moved.
Second.
Now a roll call.
Hannah,
yes,
Kurtz,
Yes.
Versater,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, motion to receive and file proof of publication of the public hearing notice for the fiscal year 2022 budget amendment.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we're now in public hearing. Any questions on our budget amendments? Al, do you need to make an explanation on what we're doing here?
This is an annual budget amendment. This reconciles revenues that have been received and not anticipated at the time of the budget, and it authorizes expenditures above what was authorized for expenditures in the original budget. Generally, it's money that we've received for anything from insurance claims. This year, we have a sizable contribution on the revenue side from the CARES Act and COVID relief funds, ARPA funds, as well as revenues that we've received on street projects in the wrong fiscal year. They came in the current fiscal year. We have to spend them in the current fiscal year, so this would both authorize or recognize the revenues and authorize the expenditures. Anytime that we have a budget amendment, there has to be a revenue stream to offset the request for increased expenditures. The documents that you have here with the expense and revenue functions reflect those revenues and expenditures offsetting.
And this would also reflect like Parks and Rec that had additional income. that
Parks
type
and
of-
Rec annually will have more revenue than they budget for because we do budget revenues fairly conservative. Concessions would be the number one issue. He frequently will sell more than what he anticipated. The revenues are there, but we have to give him permission to spend more to buy additional supplies to continue selling. RV park fees were significantly above annual anticipated fees. Pool passes were significantly higher than what we expected last year. Those are both reflected in there. But of the total budget amendment, by far the largest amount would be the timing issue of revenues received for streets and airport projects, and then the three COVID relief fund funding revenue streams that we've accounted for.
Any other discussion during the public hearing? I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes.
I will point out that we cannot take action at the same meeting we hold the public hearing like we do with the regular budget. This will be on our next regular council meeting for action.
This will be on May 9th.
Correct.
Okay, next, we need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of a notice of public hearing for amending code section 63.04, special speed zones.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Now I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in public hearing.
I don't remember us requesting to have a DOT audit of the speed.
Mr. Sheretz had asked the Iowa DOT to take a look at the Highway 150 section south of the Wapsie Bridge to Highway 20, review the speed zone there because of the added businesses and traffic volume that we have there. DOT did their traffic study, and their recommendation is to reduce the speed from 45 to 40 in that area from Highway 20 ramps to the Wapsie Bridge.
I would request in the future to at least make the council acknowledge, let us know that the request is being made or they're,
I think it was.
Mr. Sheretz did inform the council that he was making this request for a traffic study. I can't give you an exact date offhand here, but I know that he did acknowledge that he was looking at this and asking the DOT to do their study. It's been some time. They don't go through this very quickly, so,
It's been since I've been on the board.
right. I want to say it was probably January or February that he did this.
oh, it was probably January when we were at the wedding.
That could be.
Any other discussion? I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now I need a motion to approve the first reading. And
So moved.
we need a roll call for this, correct?
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, we did have one.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
We do have the option to waive the requirement of 3 considerations to this ordinance prior to its final passage and have the measure voted or placed on its final passage for adoption pursuant to Iowa Code Section 380.3. Does anyone want to make that motion?
I would make that motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Prisada,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
No.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
No.
Kurtz.
Yes.
That motion would fail. It requires a supermajority to waive the readings.
Question, does John get the vote tonight?
Mayor Pro Tem always gets to vote. They are a member of the council, yes.
Okay, this question, didn't know.
Yep.
Okay, next we need a motion to approve the third and final passage of the amendment to Code Section 17.028 for adoption pursuant to Iowa Code Section 380.3, which is the powers and duties about council committees. It's a third reading,
So moved.
Second.
and we need a roll call for this, correct?
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes,
Prisada.
Yes.
that measure passes. Next is a resolution approving the use of the American Recovery Plan Act funds in fiscal year 2022. Motion to approve a resolution that approves the use of the American Recovery Act Plan Act funds in fiscal year 2022.
So moved.
Second.
And we need a roll call.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Prisada.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Motion to approve the 2022-2023 supplemental agreement with the Iowa Department of Transportation. This amount is what the city will receive in the same amount as last year's supplemental agreement.
So moved.
Second.
And we need a roll call, please.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Prisada.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Next, we have a Bark Park donation agreement. We need a motion to approve the donation agreement with Blue Buffalo for the Indy Bark Park.
So moved.
Second.
And we need a roll call, please.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Prisada.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have a motion to waive City Code Section 122.10 transient merchant time restriction. The local Boy Scout troop would like to set up a concession stand on the west side of the river during the fireworks display on July 4th. They are not allowed to participate in the park due to the sale of alcohol during the July 4th celebration activities, so have opted for two possible locations to have their stand. Due to their not-for-profit status, the city can issue a permit to do this. However, the city council must authorize the activity past 7 p.m. And I believe they did this last year, too.
This is the same activity as last year.
So moved.
Second.
And we need a roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Prisada.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have a motion to approve a farm lease for the parcel north of the terminal building for haying operation with Leon Bachman. Mr. Bachman has requested permission to put hay on approximately 4 acres north of the terminal building. He has agreed to pay $5 per bale produced on this property. It is a 1-year lease, and he carries all expenses for the operations required to harvest the hay. The airport board has recommended approval.
So moved.
Second.
And we need just a,
Got a question on that.
Yes, sir.
Does that interfere with the FAA as far as doing anything around the airport?
No, this won't have any impact on the airport operations currently. The lease does have a stipulation that should we have a large event, he gets 48 hours notice, because that's where we would, that's the area we'd use for overflow parking if we had a large event. But he has 48 hours to either put up the hay or notify us of his intent, and if not, we can mow it and make it usable for our needs. We don't have any large events like that planned at this time, but he's aware of that, and again, that is stipulated. This is a one-year lease because this is the area that includes the apron expansion, the $1 million community building project funds that we received through Congress this spring, and I don't anticipate all 4 acres being available after this year. But this year, if he wants to try it, it's at his request. It just shortens up or reduces the amount of lawn that we have to mow out there by just over 4 acres. So it's really a win-win for us this year.
So this is the first year he's done that?
This will be the first year, correct. They are doing a bit of a test plot there. They're going to overseed it, leave the grass intact, and put some, I don't know if it's alfalfa or what they'll put in there. They'll try it. If it works out, that's good for him. If it doesn't work, it's just his attempt
God
to try
isn't
it.
going to go out there and measure the height of the grass to make sure it's in compliance.
No, I assure you, we will not. There are some FAA regulations, height restrictions, crop area, restricted areas, but I think we're okay with this.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Need a roll call, please?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Pursader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Very good. Next, we have an engineer update. Mr. Crawford?
Thank you very much. Couple updates for you since our last chance to be together. 6th Avenue Southwest Trail, that project the fencing has been installed and completed, and the seeding has been completed as of last week. So the status of that project is getting very, very close to being complete. We are working on the final quantities with the contractor for the project. You'll likely be seeing a final pay request at your first meeting in May.
What
for the
about the
project.
creek fence? They're quite a ways on the south side from the creek itself, and then on the north side, I mean, are they gonna close that off in any way, shape, or form?
Nope, there's no plan to close that off. In our conversations, that is an area that collects debris when the water rises and recedes. And so putting a fence there is going to be more, I guess.
More like on a cable.
Yeah, and that's, that's the extent it's going to be for their work.
Sure.
So,
Because I had someone, a potential tenant for that has cattle, was asking me.
oh, okay. So yes, the final change, or final pay request in May. Also, the contractor has presented us with a time extension request. So you'll likely see some discussion on that at the committee of the whole meeting first, and then at the regular council meeting in May. The Highway 150 reconstruction project, segment 1, the water main is being pressure tested this week and disinfected, and then it'll be hooked up middle of the week, pending all the appropriate outcomes of those tests. Sanitary sewer construction started today in the 6th to 7th street block. So that's the second block in segment 1. So they're working on that, and when they get that finished, they're anticipating later this week, they'll be wrapped up with that block. They're going to turn around and start right away with storm sewer construction. So they'll be working on the storm sewer later this week. And finally, the Liberty Trail South Extension project is going to get started. We have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for tomorrow with Skyline Construction, the contractor for that. He has not supplied us with a schedule as of yet, but we anticipate getting that tomorrow. along with a list of his subcontractors, and so we can report to you in May as to the timeline for that project. So that's all I have, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I see they hydroseeded, but once the rain hit, that,
So we were out today and looked at some of the rills in the bottom of the ditch, and we're going to be in contact with them to come back and touch that up. That's more of a punch list item, so those are things that we would typically, go out and take care of. We do have retainage on the project for things like that, but just as a matter of procedure to get it to a final completion so that we can identify what those punch list items are, which would be included in one of those. We'll be working with them to get that taken care of.
sounds good.
Mark, on that project, on the backside of the fence on top of the hill, there's no hydroseeding up there. Was that at the property owner's request?
At the south end?
On the north end?
North end? I believe that was at their request, yep. I'll follow up for sure, but I think that
Yeah,
there
I
was a
just-
discussion of that.
I looked at that today and I was concerned because everything was done except for that strip right behind there.
Yep. I think that was.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, we're down to council members, and at this time, especially if you'd like to make any comments to Bob and his family, I know everybody's affected by this, and we just started going around the room. Jen, I'd like to start with you.
I just want to offer my sincere condolences to Bob, his family, and I thought Bob was doing an excellent job as mayor, and I'm going to miss his positivity and his just jovialness, I guess. That's all I have.
Thoughts and prayers to Bob's family, and especially Audrey. And I agree with Jen that in the short time that Bob was mayor, he had a very positive impact on the community. And I think that he would want us to continue to do that good work for the community to help do better.
Deb?
Prayers to the family once again, and he was a very proud father to all his daughters, and talked a lot about his family when you got talking to him. And so prayers to all his 3 daughters and Audrey.
Thank you. Catherine?
I've known Bob for a long time and going to miss Bob and all that he brings to our community. We worked very closely with him when I was on the school board. He's done a lot for the community. So. And Audrey's a good friend of mine, so I hope all goes well for him the next few days here. Prayers to them all.
Thank you. Mike?
My condolences to the family, and I'm sure they'll rally together. They're a very nice, close-knit family, and I'd like the community to realize how much Bob Hill did in the community, not just with the city, but with other organizations too. Every time I turned around, he was talking to me about Organization A, Organization B, they need this, they need that. And he seemed to find a way to bring people together to get it done. He will be missed.
Brian?
Obviously, condolences from my family to all of Bob's family. I didn't have the history with the council, obviously being the newest member, but always making me feel welcome. And if there's one thing that you never questioned about Bob, it was certainly his commitment to this community, this council, and every board, council involvement that he had. Didn't get to serve with him on Rotary, but I've sure seen a lot of pictures of him in the spaghetti sauce making stage. And it always made me laugh when I did, and that was one of the things I remember about Bob the most is his smile and his dry sense of humor. And always, he was a little quicker than I was. It always took me a second to catch up, but I always made sure I did, so. Definitely be missed in the community.
I've known Bob for many years, and we always had a friendly support for the Green Bay Packers, and all the wins and losses sometimes really hurt, but we always had good conversations, and Politically, we were not always on the same page, but we had healthy discussions, and they were always good-natured, and we'd rib each other pretty good. And he was such a positive influence around this community. I filled in for a couple meetings today for him, and it's amazing the heartfelt condolences people have offered up. I mean, it's really a real great commentary on a wonderful life lived, and we'll miss him. Oh. Steve?
Say something, Steve.
I'd just like to express my condolences, those of my partners and attorneys who have worked with you all and who worked with Bob. Condolences to the family and the community. Bob met with Holly and I recently at our office on a project that was near and dear to him, and we'll be continuing to work on that and bring it forth to the council. And just wanted to kind of note that, you know, at that meeting, it was kind of everything that Bob was and that I came to know about him in the past couple of years. He's told some what are called dad jokes. He explained a scene to Holly from a movie that came out probably 20 years before she was born. And he talked about his daughters. Again, you know, hope the family the best and pull through this.
Thank you. Chief, would you like to say something?
I'll just say on Bob that as a mayor, over a very short time, I saw that he did not toe a party line. When he made decisions about this community, he toed the independence line, and that was very well accepted. The other thing I'd like to tell you as he sits out here in front of you today is Daniel Morgan is here. He was the one who did the presentation before. Over the past 6 months, anything that the police department has to do with, Mr. Morgan does a great job for us. He works on the quality of life issues that you sometimes don't see. And so when it gets to that, where we see that bill at the end of the year, that's exactly what he does, but you don't know it. And he is a constant, has constant involvement with our office, and those are the quality of life things that our citizens need the most. And I would just ask that you recognize that while he's here today, because a lot of you probably don't know how much he does for this city. Other than that, I'll save everything else for the committee as a whole next week, though. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Mr. Morgan, thank you. Susie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just that the short time I've really known Bob, I am gonna miss him. He was great to work with. Didn't always necessarily get his humor, but I knew enough to at least chuckle and maybe ask questions after he left, so.
Al had the opportunity to have to go in front of the TV camera with me and have to come up with some stuff on the fly, and because we were still pretty much in the emotion of it, but Al, I'll let you contribute.
Well, I think I said everything there that I would have to say. I think Bob's been a part of the fiber of our community for how many years, and there's so many things that we look around and we see that have happened, and Bob's finger was someplace in virtually every one of those projects. And people didn't always know that because he didn't take a lot of credit. He was always in the background. So we will miss that. The outpouring from other communities and other community leaders has been pretty phenomenal. And so Bob, around the state, well, he had a hard time talking to people, but, or maybe not. He touched a lot of people outside of our community as well in local government. And so I'll just pass on that there's a lot of people that will miss him.
Thank you. In closing, I think it'd be great for us to all look at each other and think, how can we do our best to emulate Bob? And the goals that he was trying to set forth for us on trying to make Independence the best place possible. And working together, you know, we're gonna have some differences from here and there, but keep in mind our focus has gotta be what's best for our community. And Bob was excellent at that, and we need to continue that legacy if we can. And I just encourage your support on whoever the new mayor is, that we keep moving the council forward and the city forward. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
And with that, I would take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.